When we were younger in the 80s, in the 90s, sustainability was actually a positive thing. It wasn't about losing jobs. It wasn't about, industries disappearing. It was about cleaning up.
There are two allegations now, Dr. Irfan, and you have to face both of them. One is technology. You are heading the technology aspects and sitting at a sustainability institute. How do you face that one?
But what we are at a junction where sustainability is colliding with the technological advancements. So organizations are investing huge in creating agentic AIs, which are not understood completely by the humans working in that industry.
So is it, Dr. Irfan, that we are moving beyond the world of upskilling and it's more about capability development?
Will the organizations completely rely on machines taking over the task? No.
Artificial intelligence taking over.
The work task.
But are you afraid that artificial intelligence will take over?
But if you look at China, it's about 1.4 billion, with India 1.45 billion. So you have almost 3 billion population just in these two countries. If you look into the wider range. Welcome to the Reframe Lab, where conversations shape perspectives. We are in our second episode with Dr. Irfan, and I have my colleague Dr. Malik joining me on this episode. Malik, over to you.
Hi, hello. Thank you very much. So Dr. Irfan, it's wonderful to see you. As Dr. Imran knows, I've just flown from London. There were cyber attacks. They've created a lot of delays throughout Europe and Heathrow. And there's also protests across the UK, especially in England. People are unhappy. They're unhappy. You hear a lot about immigration, but also a lot about net zero. You hear a lot about the deindustrialization, the push towards net zero, and people are losing their jobs. Industries are disappearing at a rapid rate. And you are a leader in sustainability. I remember, I don't know, Imran, if you remember when you were young or younger, when we were younger in the 80s, in the 90s, sustainability was actually a positive thing. It wasn't about losing jobs. It wasn't about industries disappearing. It was about cleaning up the environment, creating innovation to create more efficient processes. And you didn't really hear these problems that we're hearing today. And so you find that, is sustainability making us poorer?
And there are two allegations now, Dr. Irfan, and you have to face both of them. One is technology. Yeah. So you are heading the technology aspects and sitting at a sustainability institute. Yeah. How do you face that one?
I think more of it is a misinterpretation or misunderstanding of how sustainability is perceived. At first instance, many organizations have misinterpreted sustainability as the direct route to cut down costs. And hence we see some layoffs in that part. Because of course, you'll have to churn out value towards the end of every department. And of course, it has to go beyond the break-even point and generate profits. And I think that's a wave. But what we are at a junction where sustainability is colliding with the technological advancements. Yeah. So at that junction, there is a lot of misunderstanding or a lack of knowledge on how these two entities can be combined.
Is there a lack of knowledge or the capitalization of this umbrella term sustainability? It's supposed to be a good thing, but actually it's the big tech companies. It's the companies that own vast amounts of resources are going to benefit, and actually the normal person is worse off. So if I speak from somebody from London, I know that we're paying vast amounts for our electricity, for example, because everything is taxed. These carbon taxes were introduced in the late 2000s. We're also being forced to get out of our cars and use public transport. And if we don't, we're given tickets. So we're penalized for using our cars. We've got congestion costs as well. So is it a vehicle for the rich to get richer?
As of now, that's what the data suggests. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes. I wouldn't say that's a wrong stat to be mentioned right now. However, the trend, as I said, we are moving into a junction where sustainability meets the tech. the technological advancements are going to be a big problem for the large organizations because the large organizations hold value. However, they are centralized. With this technological advancement, it gives the right power to every individuals to start something of their own which is close to their heart. This is where the real upskilling is required. How many people are ready to learn this evolving cycle of creating a value?
If I stop you there, if I may. So upskilling. Now let's talk about upskilling. We know that that AI will become a lot more intelligent than us.
Yes.
There are predictions from very valid sources that 99% potentially of existing jobs are going to be replaced with AI. And if AI is more intelligent than us, how can you expect us how can we upskill people to what?
Very good question, yeah.
Brilliant. This is the most challenging question I have been faced with until now. 99% of the people or the mankind losing their jobs, it has a timeline. And as per the recent study done by MIT, organizations are failing at it. That gives value to humans more than the machines. What's happening out there is an interaction between the human factor and the machine. The machine works well if humans understand it at that scale. So organizations are investing huge in creating agentic AIs, which are not understood completely by the humans working in that industry.
Is it that it's called the black box? Is it?
I would call it a bridge that needs to be completed or walked upon by every human. So whoever crosses that is relevant to the organization.
So is it, Dr. Irfan, that we are moving beyond the world of upskilling and it's more about capability development rather than skills? It's more about capabilities that are required now at the human level?
Yes, you have used the right terminology. It's about the capability development that is revolving around a task force. So the standards of doing a task are evolving. It's upgrading on a day-to-day basis. How many humans are evolving with that mentality? Machines are, but humans aren't. Will the organizations completely rely on machines taking over the task? No, because the standardized framework is not integrated yet into an AI. And that's where we face ethical issues with AI, artificial intelligence taking over as agentic AIs. The framework lies
artificial
with the humans.
Intelligence taking over
The work task.
the work task.
Yes.
But are you afraid that artificial intelligence will take over?
No, it's not going to work. Because if it's going to work, it's going to have problems with every stage. And that's going to be obvious if you're recording that information. Think of it as the 2009 crash. It happened due to the real estate. There was one person, if you have seen the movie Big Shot, there was one person who earned billions when the masses lost trillions. That person identified a shorting process. He shorted against the housing market because he was the only one who was able to see that data. Over here, what's happening, if we give the entire power to AI to take over the workforce, we are not seeing what's happening at stage level, at each process. We need to record that information somewhere to see how it's evolving.
Okay, what's really, because we're here in Dubai, and I can see there's a completely different world for UK, and in comparison to the when you compare the UAE and the UK, but there are also a lot of synergies. So they're investing in AI, billions and billions of dollars are being invested in AI capabilities, in building AI. But what is the reality on the ground for the UAE? So there is investment, but how does that translate to the long-term prosperity for the country? And where is the investment being? Is it here? Is it outside?
As far as I know, UAE is investing huge into AI data centers, creating it across different geographic locations. It developed its own, one of the most powerful LLMs, which is Falcon. And then they have something which is K2 Think. that they're investing huge in creating something which is of value. What do we see over here is due to the recent H1B updates, as you know it, they have US has put down $100,000 fee for every, not for every, for H1B visa within the companies. What would this reflect on? UAE becoming the hub. In fact, the Middle East becoming the hub for the next technological evolution, because we see a lot of tech professionals or expertise flowing into Middle East and then creating small startups.
Yeah, absolutely right. I think if we look into the data, the world population is 8.1 billion right now. But if you look at China, it's about 1.4 billion, with India 1.45 billion.
Yes.
So you have packed almost 3 billion population just in these two countries. If you look into the wider range, include the other Asian economies, more than 2/3 of the world is here this side. Absolutely. Which is giving rising support to entrepreneurship in this part of the region. And with those political changes happening in the US, I absolutely agree that this is where the next Silicon Valley is.
Is it really, though? Is it really? Do you believe that Dubai will be the next Silicon Valley? Because we're not talking about thousands. First of all, what are the numbers of commercialized products being commercialized in Dubai or in the UAE? In comparison to other countries. So we do hear a lot about the absolute brilliant potential that the UAE has, and across the Gulf. We also see that Saudi Arabia is moving very quick and potentially could be a vacuum. And that's another question mark. Will Saudi Arabia be a vacuum pulling out all these tech startups, and they move to Saudi Arabia? What do you think of that?
It would take some time. Of course, the resources out here in Dubai are much more advanced when compared to Saudi Arabia. But Saudi Arabia has huge investment platforms. Yes, it would suck into some of the resources, talents, which is coming towards Dubai. However, I wouldn't say Dubai can be the next Silicon Valley, because it can take it up to the next level. Silicon Valley is created out of the big organizations, which are, by the way, led by mostly expats who converted from H1B to a green card. And as you have mentioned, most of the H1B visas are from dominantly two countries.
71% is
Indian and Chinese. Chinese. So what we see over here is the next leap beyond Silicon Valley, which is completely automated, governed by AI, but with an ethical framework. And I think Dubai is capable to do that.
And we call it leapfrogging. And this has happened many a times. You have seen Korea leapfrogging. You have seen China leapfrogging.
Yes.
So I think we are seeing another leapfrogging over here, where perhaps the Middle Eastern countries would take an edge. I do understand that, there's an issue of quantity versus quality. There might be huge numbers of entrepreneurs in this region. Are they enough in quality as well? That's a question that time would answer perhaps. But I feel like that, that's the trend happening.
I mean, from the UK, but speaking from the UK, I know that British businesses are hungry for the UAE, for Saudi Arabia, for the GCC. I was part of a number of UK trade missions, and I know they're hungry for it. But actually, the reality is, are they hungry for? What are they hungry for? Is it the location, or is it actually the investment? And that's really what a lot of companies want, is that they're looking for the money. Do you agree with that?
Not just money, but the resources, as you say, capability management, capability building capabilities.
What are the resources here?
The resources, I would say, huge access to the commercial platforms, huge investments, as you have mentioned.
Ease of doing business is the first one. Taxes.
It is the taxes. Absolutely. That's what it is. It's the ease.
Absolutely, yes. And then you can get absorbed into the Dubai AI ecosystem. DIFC has recently started Dubai AI Campus, wherein every organization has a pathway to build and network with AI community. So there are a lot of organizations which have opened up, and this is a new entity within DIFC. So you see all the banks, mostly, be it ENBD,
Will they
the
have
big
access
fours.
to contracts, to funding? What will they, something tangible?
If you bring something of reality, of value, yes, you would have the investment, but then the real strength lies in collaborating and co-creating something that can be utilized across the same sector.
I do know that the government level thinking within this part of the world is years ahead when it comes to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And do you think that's motivating and fueling this growth?
Can you come again,
Because the Minister of AI in UAE was nominated almost 10 years back when AI was not even a terminology heard of. So they are ages ahead with the rest of the world. Is it this aspect which is fueling the growth of this country?
Yes, they are definitely forward thinking. However, the real capabilities that lie with the government and the private sector are way different. So what's happening at the government sector is way beyond our imagination, I would say. But then the private entities are trying to leverage on that ecosystem that Dubai has created, be it in terms of investment, the network community, the technology expertise. Of course, over here, we see a lot of part-timers who would work in the tech segment because they are more suited for that role rather than hiring someone full-time. And this is what the shift is going to be in the industrial ecosystem. I would say entrepreneurship is going to be one core key talent where individuals can leverage on tech platforms to create something of value that can be absorbed into different organizations of the same sector.
So Dr. Irfan, what's your prediction for 2030, 5 years ahead? How do you see the world and particularly this region from your perspective?
I would say many individuals who are pushing themselves for upskilling would create value and become entrepreneurs. Dubai is the right place to basically become rich quickly, the fastest route to become rich, by creating a value and then working as small business units. I would call it small entrepreneurship units that can be utilized by different organizations, solving small issues at the beginning, because organizations are stuck up in their hierarchical obstacles or challenges for approving even a small automation within the task flow. But individuals carry that power of developing something if they have the expertise to do it.
So the prediction, so data centers are growing across the globe. They take up vast amounts of resources, as you know, and one resource that is scarce in this area is water.
Yeah.
And so from your experience and expertise, what is the government across the GCC? What are they doing in terms of water security? And is there are they aware that there are problems with water scarcity and data centers?
Yes, to cool data centers, we need huge amounts of water resource. Something that the government, I think, is doing is investing in regions that are specifically colder than the Middle East. European regions, I think, are more suited towards building large data centers, something that is not on the equatorial line. And then building data centers over here, if they have a vision of building, and I think there are already some, must be cooled with renewable energy, because we have ample of solar power generated over here.
Are you saying it must be from, is that a criteria that they've agreed on, or is that from?
I would say that is much more sustainable in the long run.
But we know from predictions, we know that the majority of data centers will actually be powered by natural gas, and that's across the globe. So do you think maybe that's not what the UAE is going to do?
I think if they have a vision of moving towards the goal of 2050, completely net zero, they would leverage on the solar power and build more of solar power, which is directed towards cooling the data centers.
Dr. Irfan, thank you so much for your time today. We are definitely at crossroads, and we can see how the world is shifting rapidly. You've given us some excellent insight, and we hope to see you again here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Irfan. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to having this next level of talk with you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.